I used to be a chronic people pleaser. I would find myself at parties I didn't want to be at, sipping alcohol I didn't want to drink, listening to people I didn't want to be around, chew my ear off harder than Mike Tyson on a cocaine binge. And why? Because I felt like I should, because I wanted to be accepted, but mainly because I didn't know any better. I felt like a bystander in my own life, not actively participating, just placating to whoever was around me, just to make sure I don't get kicked out of the tribe, whatever vague notion that is. After years of trial and error, I don't really do that anymore, and I've noticed 4 massive benefits. 1, I have more energy every day. 2, I've taken back control of my time. 3, I enjoy parties again. Can you imagine enjoying talking to other people? Can you even imagine? And 4, I've developed a compounding sense of self-respect. Unfortunately, most people pleasers don't have a guide on how to actually get out of this pattern. So that is what we're going to do in this video, and I'm going to do it in three simple steps. First off, let's talk about the underlying principle that's going to help us change our behavior. Stopping people pleasing is a muscle. The secret is to start really, really small. No action is too little. This is a concept called micro goals, which is basically if you want to drive a habit change, start with the smallest version of that habit and then slowly increase the load. So for example, if you want to start meditating, tell yourself you're going to meditate for 10 seconds every day. 10 seconds. Who doesn't have 10 seconds to sit there with their own thoughts? Me, I'm scared. So you meditate for 10 seconds, feels a bit silly, but you've checked it off. Next day, maybe you go for 20 seconds, then 30, then a minute, then 5 minutes, then 10 minutes. And after 2 weeks, you've built a habit because you're succeeding. Dopamine hit, dopamine hit, put it in my veins. Motivation keeps us going. It's the same with people pleasing. No action is too small. You wouldn't go to the gym for the first time, jump on a bench and try to throw up a 100-kilogram barbell. My father actually almost choked to death doing exactly that when he used to be a bodybuilder, but that is a story for another time. Don't be my dad. Baby steps. All behavior change in the world happens in 4 stages. Why am I doing that? 1, tiny change. Number 2, you try something a little bigger. Number 3, you maintain that change consistently. Number 4, repeat. Make that first step so easy you can't say no. Anyone can do this, and you are anyone, so let's dive in. Step 1, say no to 1 social obligation. Does that scare you already? Good, you need it the most. I'm watching you. The first step's always the hardest, so that makes it the most important. Get your phone, bring up your calendar or your messages, and find an event that you'd rather not attend or a request that you wish you could reject. You know the one, you look at it and you go, oh yeah, I agree to do that, but I really don't feel like it. Now what you're gonna do is say no to that event or person, but without making up an excuse. We're not learning how to lie here. We're learning how to put ourselves first. Here's an example from my own life. A friend messaged me and said he needed help filming an audition. And I said, hey man, I can't tonight. I want some time alone to recharge. And he was fine with it. Up until this point, if I wanted to get out of something, I'd have to build this intricate web of little white lies that I'd have to remember in case someone questioned me why I wasn't at this event or this party. Really, I should have made some Excel spreadsheet with all of my excuses in it so I could have remembered. That's a great idea. Oh, what was this event? Oh yes, my grandma died. Okay, I remember that story. Don't do that, it's a joke. I mean, you can do that. It's a lot more admin than just standing up for yourself. But hey, we'll take convenience over confrontation anytime, am I right? I'm kidding. We're not people pleasing anymore. Stop, guys, stop messing around. I mean, think about it. Saying no to someone only goes one of 2 ways. Either, 1, they're totally cool with it and you're off the hook. Or number 2, they are not cool with it at all, they get really angry and they yell at you. Think about that. The worst case scenario is that an adult speaks loudly at you. What we're really running from is that cocktail of disapproval, guilt, shame that feels so unbearable in the moment that you just want to drop to your knees and beg their forgiveness for not coming to the screening of their poorly written short film. Yeah, I said it. And don't get me wrong, you can't avoid this. Someone is going to disapprove eventually. Not everyone's going to be so keen on your newfound confidence. But let's just hold on a second before we melt into a pool of remorse. If they can't respect your desire to do something else, then I would ask you, is that the kind of person that you really want in your life? And so not only does saying no to people free up more of your time again, but it also has a second automatic benefit. It filters out people that you might not want in your circle anyway. So step 1, start small, say no to 1 social obligation. Step 2, leave an event when you feel like it. Imagine this, you're at a party, you've only been there for an hour, but you'd rather be at home reading 50 Shades of Grey again. So you get up and let the host know that you're leaving. What? You just got here, he says. And you reply, yeah, but I feel like going home now. And you leave. It's crazy to me that this is like a novel way of acting in our society. Let's normalize leaving places whenever the fuck you want. Because if you don't want to be there, then why are you there? There's a great quote by Dan Coe that says, if you don't know why you're doing something, why are you doing it? That's so simple it almost sounds stupid, but it makes so much sense. If you don't know why you're at that party or that event, what are you doing this for? You're doing it for other people? So that other people like you? What about you? What about what you want? I'm starting to get riled up. I just need to calm down. So, your next challenge is, next time you're at a party or an event, as soon as you realize you want to leave, get up, say goodbye, and go. No French, Irish, Bosnian exits, okay? Now, there's a very common objection here, which is, I don't want to become an asshole. And hey, I hear you. I had that fear as well. But I would argue that combating people-pleasing, leaving whenever you want, has the exact opposite effect. Let me explain. The times I've become an asshole at parties is usually when I'm falling into people-pleasing behavior. Does this sound familiar? You smile through gritted teeth and tolerate small talk and then run to the bathroom so you can have 5 minutes alone with your phone. Resentment builds up in you that you have to stay at this party longer than you want to.
I want to go home.
You get shorter and shorter in your responses, wondering when this guy is going to shut up, sitting there on a futon stewing with a cup of shitty punch in your hand. I mean, really, who wants that person at a party? I would rather the guy that's only there for 1 hour, but when he's there, he's really there. He's really with you. He's engaged. And people will start to know that when you're at a party, you want to be there. Because if you didn't want to be there, you have the confidence to leave. I'd much rather that guy at the party. And I'd much rather be that guy. I also notice that when I fall into that resentment, I want that guy to shut up, I'm putting everything on them, as if it's their responsibility that I'm stuck at this party. No. That's my responsibility. I can leave whenever I want. No one is actually keeping me here except for my fear of confrontation. So step 2, leave when you feel like it. Step 3, repeat and watch your identity change. All that's left now is you just got to repeat steps 1 and 2. Offer doesn't excite you? Say no. Don't want to be at that party anymore? Leave. If you can start small and do this consistently, taking on bigger and bigger challenges, your identity will start to shift. This is where most people fall off. They reject 1 or 2 things, they feel kind of good, and then they fall back into familiar patterns. And that's okay. They're strong patterns. But it's my job to urge you to keep going, to push on. Because if you can push through the discomfort of that confrontation and the guilt and the shame and whatever comes up for you, you will start to see so many benefits. You'll start to feel relaxed saying no to people. It won't take as much energy to put yourself first. You'll appreciate all the new time you have to spend on the things that you actually value. You'll develop a trust with yourself that says, I don't do things that I don't want to do. You'll feel more present with other people. You'll rediscover who you really are. When you're people-pleasing, you're losing yourself. You're putting other people's needs above your own. So how are you supposed to know what your own needs are? But when you start taking back your power, oh, what a cringy phrase. I'm keeping it in. When you start taking back your power, you start to remember things that you like, preferences, convictions, values that were constantly being quashed for the sake of other people. And everyone deserves that. Thank you for watching. But what am I playing, chopsticks? Jump on a bench and try to throw up 100-kilogram dumbbell? Jeffrey Dahmer bell?